Welcome back to the Tool World Podcast. I'm your host, David Jew, and I'm here with Master Jew.
How's it going there, Mr. Jew?
It's going okay.
Some people do that.
Yeah. All right, this week we're going to be discussing, can I teach patterns or sparring, even if I'm not like, quote unquote, super amazing at them?
Yes. My answer is yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, let's think about it for a second here before you jump to your conclusion. You know, sometimes in schools, you know, you have one instructor, world champion, they're super good, they're like flying around, right? But that's not to say that you don't have, you don't have black belts that maybe might be like, let's say 50 or 60 when they start. And they go through the ranks, they learn the curriculum, and they might be decent, but they're not going to be that kind of like, you know what I mean, they're not going to be that world champion like style. But you still want them to be able to, you know, teach and knowledge. And what do you think? Is that okay? Well, It's not like, is that okay? It's more like, what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are as yes, anyone can do it. And I would encourage everyone to do it. The problem you're going to have is like someone's teaching a class and you go to it and you go, ooh, nah, that's not for me. I'm not doing that. And maybe that's the general population, but then maybe you might have one or two people that are going to go, wow, okay, I like it. That's fine. It could be really, and it may not even be very knowledgeable because you don't have to have a lot of knowledge to lead a big group actually. And even ITF, within our own group, I've seen even our own instructor. I had one instructor says, spare finger. Says, what's a spare finger?
Yeah.
You know, and this guy has been with me for a long time.
Right.
Where did that come from? Roundhouse kick. Well, I mean, yes, roundhouse kick is a kind of a common terminology, but we don't use it.
Right.
And yet our instructor has done that. So that means, you know, something missing there. But I think everyone can teach. The question is whether or not they want to be with them. How good of a teacher are they?
So from the example that I provided, somebody that started later in life, maybe they've never really like competed at like a super high level. Can they open their own school?
Yes.
Okay.
I think they can. Again, that has nothing to do with whether they'll have one student or 100 students or 200 students. It's just they can do it. Anyone can do it. Anyone can open a club. Anyone can do it out of their garage. The question is, will they have any students? Just because you're a world champion and you can jump up 10 feet in the air or whatever, you can break 7 boards, you're a 4th degree black belt, I'm going to open a studio.
They might be the worst at opening the studio,
They could be the worst at opening the studio. And it may not be successful. They have the capability. They might even have the knowledge.
But they might not have that business sense or how to deal with people.
That's a different story.
How to lead classes too. So yeah, there's definitely. Okay.
So you got the art, and then you have
the business
or the dojang. I call it the dojang.
Yeah.
So you have the art, and then you also have the dojang art.
All right, so let's jump to another scenario here. You have a group of students that want to compete at a high level.
Okay.
Right? Doesn't matter. It could be world championships. WT could be, you know, your national champion.
They just want trophies.
They want a high level here. Yeah, they want trophies.
Right.
Now you have a coach. They never compete at a high level. What's your thoughts on that?
I think you see that even in professional sports.
Because all those kids that, you know, are trying to compete at that high level, you know, do they respect that kind of coach?
Well, yeah. That's another story too, I think. If the coach is able to take somebody and make them better, they're going to get that respect, regardless of their own personal results when they were a competitor. Does a coach have to have competed? I think it helps because it's just like an instructor, right? I think that you can't just teach taekwondo without actually doing some taekwondo. You may not be the best at it, but you have gone through it. Yeah. I think a coach is kind of similar in a way. So I think a taekwondo coach, and he's older. I'm not talking about a 12-year-old coach.
Okay.
We're talking about someone that's an adult probably.
Yeah.
that have kind of been doing it. So that also means that they've been around in Taekwondo for a while. And they understand the training, they understand, they've gone through that, at least the training, and they also understand what they went through. And so as a coach, they might bring that in, and then they will give their opinion. I think coaches are giving their opinion on certain things, like how do you spar, how do you do this pattern, how do you break? Well, all of that comes from really experience, I think.
But if they haven't been able to accomplish certain things, there might be that kind of hesitation, like, oh, how can you lead someone to breaking a lot if you've never broken a lot?
True.
You know?
You can still be a coach. I think it's just their own. I always kind of talk about the body of work. What's your body of work?
Well, you bring that up, and I think eventually some coaches, you go, I've trained all these guys, right? So you have a proven kind of track record. So I guess I'm talking more about like somebody that's maybe doesn't have that kind of track record so far,
So you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And so you just jump in, just kind of like teaching a class. You won't know until you've actually just kind of done it.
Yeah.
Whether you're going to be good or not, that's a different story.
Right.
So we try to get some of our black belts to coach, and they start when they're young. Hey, he needs a coach. Go over there, and the person says, "Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up." Okay, that's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
Well, in sparring, but was he a very good coach?
Right.
I'm not sure. Right.
Yeah.
So it is a skill set. It's a different skill set you have to learn, and I think we learn it from doing it. And do you have to be really good at Taekwondo to be a really good coach? No, I don't think so. I think if you've experienced a lot of it, seen a lot of it, so you could have someone that can't break, let's just use breaking again, can't break 6 boards or 7 boards for whatever reason, never have ever tried, or because maybe that person was a doctor or something, that's not something they want to do. Can that person still be a good coach? Maybe, could be, probably. They understand the way it's done. And if I'm able to get someone to go, again, let's just say breaking as an example. If I'm able to get someone that go from breaking 2 boards to 6, was I a good coach?
Yep.
Even though I can't do 6 boards. I would say, that's a good coach.
Right.
You were able to get them to that next level.
Right.
But that only comes because I would probably say that's because their experience and what they've learned. And so, if you got one guy to break 6 boards, the probability of getting another guy to do the same thing is going to be greater. And so that helps with that reputation of he's a great coach or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the same with teaching a class. Not everyone can teach a class. They can teach a class. Not everyone can have a successful class. But what is successful? A large, successful group of students? I don't know.
Well, that's hard to say
relative.
nowadays because some schools only have 8 kids per class, but that school is doing super amazing because of money.
That's the dojang.
Yeah.
That's different than the art.
Yeah.
And does that mean that they're a better instructor? Not necessarily. They might have, you hear, we get students that come from different schools, and I always like to know what they're doing. They did some really fun games. I was like, oh wow, that does sound like a fun game.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that works in Taekwondo.
I've tried some of them. Yeah.
How does that benefit? How does it benefit you in Taekwondo?
Yeah.
I'm wondering. Like throwing a ball at you, dodging it. That might be helpful.
Right. No, we actually did that belt one where you tuck it in.
Oh, did you?
I did it with the squad guys. Thought I'd try it out.
And what did you think?
It was actually, it's a good warm up.
Would it help? Would it help them in their Taekwondo?
Yeah, in a sparring sense. You're kind of moving around. It got a little out of hand though, so.
That's the thing. I don't know.
got a little wild as people would try to go at it. But anyways, all right. Well, let us know you guys' thoughts.
That's experience, right?
Yeah, that's experience.
Now at least you tried it.
Yeah.
Then you're either going to go do it again or you're not going to do it again.
But this select group would do it again.
Yeah,
probably
maybe.
not in the
general
public.
It's a good idea, though.
Yeah. All right. Let's know you guys' thoughts on teaching. and
Can
your
anyone
positions.
teach?
Yeah, anyone.
Do you have to be good
Yeah.
at Taekwondo to teach?
Right. All right, listener, you guys' thoughts. As always, don't forget to be safe,
Keep training.
and we'll see you guys next time.
Take one.